The little portal opens. That's just incredible. To keep in line with my attitude of fish keeping being as easy as possible, I've bought myself an auto feeder. This particular one is by a company called Petbank. It's not one I've ever heard of, but they seem to be very popular on Amazon. I bought this to put on my 4x2x2 marine tank to keep my fish happy while I'm at work. I really should look at Amazon descriptions a lot closer because I thought this was a lot bigger than it is. In fact, it does seem quite small now I've got my hands on it. That being said, we'll open it up and have a look just how good this auto feeder is. One of the attractions for me for this particular model was the fact that it was a circular design. It has multiple compartments and you can fill each one of them with different foods. I haven't opened it yet, and as normal I'm going to share that momentous occasion with you. So let's open up the box and we'll see what is inside. Hopefully a circular auto feeder. And you will notice this one says rechargeable, which is one of the features that attracted me to this model. Batteries are so old school, aren't they? And this particular auto feeder has a 700 milliamp rechargeable battery included inside of it, and apparently that lasts around 1 to 2 months after charging, which is amazing. We'll look at this a little bit later. Initial impressions of the product, it does look rather swanky. I like the luminous green colour, and especially the luminous green ring around that. But aesthetics aside, we'll just unpack it from the plastic wrapping that it comes in, and then we'll see what else is in the box. Well, let's put that over here. Moving down the box, we have a bit of cardboard, a spoon, I guess that's in case you've forgotten to pack one for your packed lunch, and we have our charger. So it's a USB-C, so modern connection, which is really good to see. I was expecting more of the old school connector, but that is a really modern connector. So obviously we know it's one of the latest models, and then that's to USB. So everybody has, at this point, somewhere they can plug this USB in to charge this. Brilliant stuff. Here's our spoon. No idea what that's for. I guess if you don't own a spoon, if you're one of these spoonless people in the world, here is your spoon, and you can use that to put your granules into your compartments. Anyway, so does this manual actually have anything interesting in it? I don't normally read the manuals. Sometimes we have some interesting things. It'll have how to set it up, how to do all of the timers. So this feeder, just from quickly reading it, you can feed up to 3 times a day, and you can also set intervals. So you can feed 3 times a day every 4 days or something like that, if that makes sense. And that means every time you set it to feed, it will drop one of these compartments into your tank. And talking about compartments, let's have a look at the compartments. This was one of the major draws for me for getting a circular auto feeder. I've seen these kinds of things before, but they used to be hugely expensive. I'm talking 50, 60 pounds. But obviously this company has brought the product in a bit cheaper than that. I think it was 28 pounds that I bought this on Amazon for, which is not a bad deal. It's very different to the regular auto feeders. The regular auto feeders, you have one compartment attached to a motor, which is the timer and everything else is on, and it spins, and then the food drops out the bottom. In this one, you have 16 individual compartments. You can see the out part is here, handily labelled with this arrow in case you didn't know, and that's where the food comes from. So this you fill with different foods, and you can fill them with different foods, which is really nice. You can alternate the kinds of foods you're feeding your fish. Unfortunately, it does say no flakes, and again, that's something I didn't pick up when I purchased the product. I imagine that's because between the rotating piece and these compartments, there's a little bit of a gap, and eventually flakes will make their way into that gap and smear around the moving parts and block the whole thing up. So you can only use pelletized foods and similar sort of stuff to that. No flakes in here, unfortunately. Another good little feature of this is it's easy to clean. We've all had fish food get a bit claggy in our auto feeders, and some of them aren't that easy to clean. This one, the chamber simply is removable, so you can easily take this out and clean it with some water. You can also give the inside here a nice clean around as well. So there's no reason why you should have any issues with hygiene with this auto feeder. Another thing these chambers do is they keep the food sealed, so it stops moisture getting into your food. And that is one of the problems with auto feeders. Sometimes they actually get jammed up when your food gets wet, especially if you leave them under a lid or something like that. The moisture from your aquarium can get into it and just clog it all up, make it go a little bit manky. And that's something which you won't get with this auto feeder. So that's all great, isn't it? Sounds amazing. I can't wait to get it running, but let's look at the rest of it. So, mounting options. There's a few, isn't there? Firstly, you've got your suction cups here. So you could theoretically stick it against something and then the food would still come out of the bottom. However, I would imagine you need to have it at a slight angle should you wish to do that. You can also just take that off and then you could mount it flat on your aquarium lid or aquarium shelf. Some tags actually have glass over the top that you could just stick that onto. The other way of doing it is the tried and tested screw type fitting. You just put your bit of glass on your aquarium there and then you tighten it up until it's attached. So you have it up that way, but also I've seen you can take this out if you want to, like that. Swanky, isn't it? Put it back in and now you can mount it sideways. So lots of mounting options. It should be able to do anything you want it to do. I can't think of any other kind of mounting option that you're going to need. So I've just turned it on, I've set the time. The lighting's not great to see this screen in this shed, unfortunately, but you can just about see. It does come with some charge. Obviously batteries like this, you should fully charge them before you use. It's really easy to set up, so just set your time. You hold the settings button down and it cycles you through the times. Then you can cycle through the different feedings, so you can just see here. I'll just do that for you so you can see. Hold it down, you cycle through, set your time, so that'll be 2 in the morning. Yeah, and then we can press the up button and then we can set how many feedings we want, and each one of these feedings represents one of these little cartridges. So at 2 AM that one's going to get 1 cartridge feeding, and you can do that 3 times a day. So pretty easy to set up. Another thing you can do by holding the up and down button is set an interval time. So that number that's changing there, that is the days between each feed. So obviously with 4 it would feed, wait 4 days and feed again. With no number it feeds every day. So quite useful if you want to give your fish intermittent feedings. So it's probably worth giving it a go. I'm going to add some different size pellets. I've got some Bug Bites here. The Bug Bites Tropical Granules, they are quite small, so that'll give us a good idea of the small pellets and how they go through this little feeder. And now that I'm a spoon owner, officially I have my spoon, I'm going to use that to put in the pellets. I mean, they're not tiny pellets, but they are reasonably... Oh god, I need some training on my spoon use. It should come with a manual on how to use a spoon. Anyway, that's the first chamber filled up, and then we'll put some larger pellets in there as well. I don't know if these are going to be too large. These are a large cichlid pellet. In terms of the amount of food that you can fit in each chamber, it is pretty reasonable, and to be fair, that is the right size spoon. So I think they're onto something. Get rid of any mess that we've spilt. There is a manual feed setting, so if I can work out how to get the lid back on, we'll just close it up and then we'll do it on a manual feed. There we go. Right, so that's just that button there. As long as we're lined up, there's a little bit of food in there at the moment. Don't know if that's going to matter. Right, let's give this a go then. It's a bit hard to film really, but let's have a look. So, rotation. The food drops out. Oh, there we go. It does work. Incredible. I'll do the other size pellets. So that was the little pellets. Now I'll do the large pellets. It does take a while from pressing the button to actually doing anything. It starts to vibrate, and then eventually it turns and the pellets drop out. Perfect. Well, that's just what we want, isn't it? So I found that incredibly satisfying, and we're going to do it again, but we're going to do it dry this time because I want to show you this feature. The little portal opens on a motor. That's just incredible, and I guess that's how the food is kept dry. And then you can see it spinning, the food will drop out, and then as if by magic it closes back up. That has definitely sold me on this product. I'm an easy man to please, and that was very fun. I've just noticed, here's the charging port. This is something which you might want to think about because it's not protected in any way against moisture that I can see. And we all know that charging ports fail. So what you're going to want to do, and I don't have one handy right now, but you can buy little rubber covers for USB-C connectors. And I would just buy one of them and stick it in that port while it's not being charged, and that will help to preserve your charging port. That is the only poor thing I think about this product. This will fail before anything else does. I haven't been given this product or anything to review, not been paid, anything like that. I genuinely bought it out of interest and need, and I'm really happy with it. I was initially not so happy about the size, but I do actually think the little sections do hold a reasonable amount of food. For my needs, though, I'll probably need to put maybe 1 or 2 feedings in there per day. So this is only going to last me around a week, but that's no big deal, is it? I'll just fill it up again every week. So not a problem at all. I'm very, very pleased with it. Price wise, I think it's reasonably well priced for what you get. It's a high quality item. The colour is, I guess, not to everyone's taste, but I like it. Who doesn't like fluorescent green and black? So if you liked this review and you're not subscribed to my channel, then you definitely need to press that subscribe button. Also leave a like if you haven't already. Those people who watch to the end, you are my favourite people on this planet. Thank you so very much. Once again, thanks for watching and happy fish keeping.